Hello, friends. I hope you're out wandering through nature, exploring the natural world around you. Do you enjoy writing about your wanderings? Nature journaling is an awesome, fun way to remember all the adventures you have taken and how you felt during those journeys. If you're looking for some beautiful journals to keep track of all your wanderings, I have several available on Amazon, including some guided journals for children. Start your journey in journaling by clicking on the link in the show notes. Keep exploring the nature around you and keep journaling all your wanderings.
Hello friends, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Paul, and today, first of all, I want to explain if I sound a little muffled. The reason is because it is effing cold out here, and I've got my gaiter on. Yes, I am in the field. So I used to be a scarf guy. I used to love my scarves. I would go out in the winter. I'd always wrap the scarf around. I just got really tired of how they would always kind of unravel on me, and I was always adjusting them. So I finally made the plunge and bought myself a gaiter. I love this thing. But yes, it may sound a little bit muffled, but I really need to keep it on. The reason is I am out and about in the field today, and it is about 19 degrees out right now. Slight breeze. There's a slight wind out here, so it's wind chill is about, single digits. I don't know exactly, but they're saying on the news this morning that single digit wind chills. Brr. Yeah, it's cold. And to top it off, right near the Lake Erie. Yeah, the Buffalo waterfront. I am at Tift Nature Preserve. Not even sure who owns it anymore. It used to be run by or owned by the Buffalo Museum of Science, but I've kind of lost track of who owns it now, who is in charge of it anymore. So there was a talk a while back about them getting rid of it. So anyhow, I'm at Tift Nature Preserve. I like coming here. Not very often. It's just kind of out of the way for me, but I do like coming here because it's kind of interesting. You may hear traffic in the background. There is a major road, the Skyway, that runs right near here, right alongside of Tift. As I'm looking around, I'm on top of a hill here, and you can see the Buffalo waterfront. You can see Lake Erie. I believe I'm seeing Canada in the distance. I've got the wind turbines. Big controversy there, sticking wind turbines out on the waterfront. And some old buildings along the waterfront, many abandoned. But if I look in the other direction, I can actually see the city of Buffalo. So it's kind of interesting. We're just on the outskirts of the city of Buffalo, and here you have this gorgeous nature preserve. So you can find nature anywhere. Are you going to get silence here? No, you're always, no matter where you go in this preserve. It's good size. I don't know exactly how many acres, but wherever you go, you will hear some sort of city noise or road noise. So you also hear a lot of birds and a lot of nature. And speaking of nature, I'm actually coming down off of the hill that I just climbed up. So if I sound a little out of breath, that's why. But there's a couple of deer just browsing. Yeah, they're getting their breakfast here this morning. So they are, looks like a couple of does So I believe the bucks would still have the bucks should still have their antlers this time of year. Oh yeah, there's actually deer scat going across the trail, deer droppings here. So, I mean, we're just outside of the city. This can be, I mean, we're not out in the country here. Nature can be found anywhere. So I get so many people who talk to me and I tell them what I do, and they're like, oh yeah, we have to, pack up the car and drive like half an hour to get to any kind of nature. And it's like, where do you live? And they're like, well, we live in the city. And I'm like, yeah, so? I says, you can have nature even in the city. I mean, nature is everywhere. It's all around us, whether you're in the country, in the city. Got looks like a duck or a goose, pretty big, so I'm thinking it's goose. Flight pattern is saying waterfowl flying overhead. He's in the distance though. Tift here is actually got a lot of wetlands. So it's kind of nice that the preserve is here, or like I said, just on the outskirts of the city. Someone would have developed it. They would have filled in all those wetlands. But Tift came along and purchased the land. They are preserving it for future generations. I may hear some of the wind here coming up over another. Oh, there's another deer. Oh, yep, see? Told you. He's got antlers. So yeah, the bucks still have their antlers on. He's staring me down. They're rather, I don't know, friendly. I shouldn't use that word. They're used to people, we'll put it that way. The deer are very used to people here. There's people hiking here all the time. People are, around all the time. And this is one of the few spaces I have around here to, get away from people, if you know what I mean. In other words, you're not in downtown Buffalo. The deer need to have some open space, somewhere to, eat. But, I mean, they're used to people being here because of the trails here. A lot of city people who live in the city, this is a nice, quick, easy place to go to get their nature fix. So, which is great. I love that this place is here because people can come out and get their nature fix. Yeah. So weekends, busy day after, at the office, after work, come over here, and it's just, a couple minutes outside of the city. So anyhow, there's a lot of wetlands here. There's some large ponds here. There is a river running through, or a creek. I'm actually coming up to, gotta watch out, there's snow on the ground, so it may sound a little crunchy here and there. Lost my train of thought. Yeah, almost, I didn't see the terrain and I almost fell there, but anyhow, I'm coming up to where there's a beaver dam. So we've got a creek and it goes into a pond, and right underneath the bridge, or next to the bridge that I'm going to be crossing in a minute here, there is a beaver dam. It is active. I have seen fresh chew there in the summertime. Oh, we've got a lot of tracks across the trail too. I'm seeing mouse tracks. Of course, I've been seeing a lot of deer tracks too. Just a lot of deer here. I've already seen 3. But yeah, you will get mice, field mice. There's rabbit tracks I saw back there. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more tracks because, like I said, you get a lot of animals here, even though we're just outside the city. So, as I was saying earlier, these people are like, oh yeah, we got to travel to see nature. No, it's right in your own backyard. I mean, I loved when I used to live out in the country, and there was just lots of open space, farm fields all around me. I had 12 acres that I kept mostly natural. 90% was kept natural, unmowed, undeveloped. And it's like nature was all around me. Now, I live in a small, the burbs, little subdevelopment, little development just outside of the town of Orchard Park. So it's not too far from the city anymore. It's only like a half-hour drive to get up there. And it's like I have houses all around me. My yard, I went from 12 acres down to a half acre. So I've got people and houses and cars and all that is around me now. But I still see nature. I get deer in my backyard. Yeah, deer are wandering through my backyard all the time. See them especially in the summer. That's mostly because I'm outdoors in the summer more. I'm outdoors in the winter, but I don't know if you can hear the water running. Yeah, I'm up on the bridge right now, and the beaver dam is right here. And you can hear the water running across the beaver dam. I mean, it's not totally blocking off the pond. But there is a beaver lodge. I'll head up towards that. There's a beaver lodge here. It's not too far offshore. There's a boardwalk that goes through the swamp, a section of the swamp, and like right next to the boardwalk, there is a beaver lodge here. So it's kind of interesting to see. So, like I said, nature all around you. I don't care where you live. I've been seeing songbirds here too. Oh, I'm looking up in the trees here. Actually, I see a red-tailed hawk. Everything's a little quiet because you may have noticed that the road noise has really died down. I can still hear it. I can still hear the cars and the trucks in the distance, but most of the road noise has died down because I'm further into the preserve right now. But there's a red-tailed hawk sitting up on a tree here, just checking out looking for his breakfast or lunch. And yeah, I'm just going to go nice and quiet down the trail here. I don't want to disturb them. Maybe I'll stir up some mice for them. But anyhow, it's cold, you know. When I left my car, it was only, I think it was 18 degrees. Wind chills are in the single digits here. The animals don't want to be out there. I mean, this red-tail sitting up there in the tree, he's got lots of insulation. Feathers are better insulation than fur. So he's fine sitting up there. But unfortunately, his food is going to be hiding, staying warm in their den. So he may have a tough time getting his food. I've got rabbit tracks that I'm following here. And yeah, they're going right down the trail. Not a lot of human tracks on the trail today. Now, there's a fresh snowfall last night, so we covered up all yesterday's tracks. So all the tracks I'm seeing there are just from today. I pulled in the parking lot. I mean, it is midweek. I'm recording this ahead of time, of course. It is midweek, and there were like 3 cars in the parking lot. So not a lot of people out here in this cold weather. I am seeing some little footprints. So those are kids. So there's kids in here somewhere. Not a huge preserve, but it's good size. So I'm sure I'll run into someone eventually. But what was I talking about? I don't even remember, but we're just having a good time out here. That's my whole purpose, is to explain to you that you can find nature anywhere. Whether you live in the city, you live in a town, or you live in the country, of course, you're going to see a lot of nature. But I've also noticed that some people who live out in the country and have all this nature around them, they don't notice it. No, they don't. They just want the views. They just want the privacy. they get upset when the geese go on their pond. They get upset when they, have goose poop all over their lawn. They get upset when the deer are coming in and eating their delicious plants and the food that they planted for the deer. I know they didn't purposely do that, but they did. So I do find there are some people out there who want to live in the country and they don't appreciate what they have in the country. Actually coming up to the one boardwalk. I'm not going to go on the boardwalk only because I know it will probably, we'll try it, but usually when the boardwalk has snow on it, it gets crunchy. Yeah, it's a little crunchy. I'm only going to go a little ways. I don't want to be drowned out by my crunchy footprints. I'm actually standing at this big tree, and it's a willow, beautiful willow. Looks like a black willow, but at the base of it, the beaver actually used the base of the tree. It's about, I'm going to say about 10 feet offshore. So it's in the swampy area. There's cattails all around me, all except for one section is open. Oh, the sun, finally. Oh, that feels good. Yeah, that feels good in this cold weather. Sun's shining down on the pond. But anyhow, the beaver built their dam here. They took advantage of the root structure, the little island that the tree created, and they just started piling their sticks on top of it. If you're interested in beaver, I have a great 2-part episode from, I think it was last year. Listen to it if you haven't already. It's a really good episode all about beaver. There's just so much information about beaver that I had to keep going. There's no beaver tracks here. They usually stay in their den throughout the winter. But I am seeing a lot of tracks going across the frozen pond. Yeah, the water is frozen over. So there are some open areas. Oh, I'm going out a little bit further. That sunshine, just don't want to miss it. Oh, it feels so good. Yeah, I look in one direction and there's just open, I shouldn't say open water, but it's frozen over, but it's all cleared water, and then you look over a little bit. I'm kind of scanning the area here, and I can see the main road in the distance there, but there's all cattails just as far as the eye can see, and then you see a big water tower, you see some old grain silos in the distance. I mean, it's just so weird to have this gem in the middle of civilization. It's like someone just said, hey, enough building. We're keeping this natural, which is great. But back to the tracks. There are a lot of tracks going across the water. It's frozen over enough. It looks like there's an area where it doesn't have any snow on it. So it must be thinner there, I believe. And you can tell the tracks went over there. None of the tracks are going across this section. So it must be pretty thin. Looks thin. And the tracks are actually going up to it, and you can see how they sunk in a little bit, slid a little bit. So I'm thinking they were trying it, but it's like, nope, yeah, it's not thick enough, and they turned around, whoever it was. Looks like a fox. There's also some smaller, looks almost like a weasel tracks going along. Yeah, and I can see some rabbit tracks on the other side here, and the fox tracks actually go underneath the boardwalk too. We're in the middle of, a city, pretty much. The city and the outskirts of the city. We're just outside, 5 minutes outside of Buffalo. Less than that, actually. And we've got all this wildlife here. Seeing mouse tracks going in towards the beaver lodge. Hey, that beaver built them a home too. Yeah, so lots of activity, lots of life. I was seeing some. Oh, there they are up in the tree here. Yep, I've got a couple of songbirds. It looks like They flew away before I could identify. Looks like a finch of some sort. Probably a purple finch, possibly house finch. So lots of birds here as well. And I told you I saw the red-tailed hawk. In the summertime, there are owls that have been spotted here. So some people come here and they will see the owls. Not open at nighttime. You're not supposed to be here at nighttime. It is dusk to dawn. They do have a very nice visitor center. Actually, before I started recording, I went in there just to check it out. I'm usually here on the weekend, and they're not always open on the weekend when I'm here, or I'm here on a Monday and they're not open on Monday. So they're open on Wednesdays I think it's Wednesday through Saturday. So yeah, and I'm out hiking on Sundays. But anyhow, they do have a nice visitor center. I was in there and checking it out. Some nice exhibits. Got some pelts out for you to touch and look at and see the different wildlife that can be found around here. I'm sure they have things like skunks and more deer tracks. Oh, it looks like a younger deer. I'm coming to one of the main trails. I just took a trail that goes between two main trails, and not a lot of human tracks on it, but lots and lots of wildlife tracks. It's amazing. So lots of songbirds. They do have a bird feeder off the back porch of the visitor center. And when I was in the visitor center, I went to the back window, and there's probably about 30 birds on that feeder and around the feeder, on the railing of the deck out back. Really awesome place. Wintertime, summertime, I suggest coming in the summer your first time, because it's really nice here in the summer. I'm hearing a crow overhead now. But at the bird feeder, there were some cardinals there, male and female cardinal. There were some chickadees. I did hear some chickadees earlier out here on the trail. Didn't see them. I did hear them. But there's some chickadees around the feeder. There were some finch, goldfinch, purple finch. Unfortunately, you are close to the city. You do get house finch here too. European house finch. Invasive species, but they're not doing any harm that we know of. Well, they do. I don't like them because they bother my bluebirds in the bluebird boxes. They're a nasty bird, but they are an invasive species, so I shouldn't say they don't do any harm. They do. Any invasive species does harm. They don't belong here, and they're pushing out native species. So anyhow, lots of different birds are at the bird feeder. I saw them earlier. I've seen a lot on the trail too, but like I said, cold, windy. A lot of them have basically bunkered down for the day. They probably were out, got all their food earlier, and now they're just out hiding, trying to stay warm. And if you ever see a bird in the wintertime sitting up in the tree and he looks huge, you may be thinking that bird is actually too fat. He's been eating, he's getting lots of food, and well, that's not necessarily the case. What you're seeing is a bird that's trying to stay warm. They're fluffing up. So they will actually fluff up their feathers, because air actually acts as an insulation. So they use that air in between their feathers to help insulate them. Now, feathers have barbules on them. They connect together. I think I've talked about this before. And that's why they act as better insulation than fur. So an animal who has feathers, birds, they stay warmer than an animal who has fur. Yeah, they've got, actually passing the visitor center. I'm headed back to my car because it is getting cold. Bought some new gloves because my other gloves, they've been getting holes in them. they're so warm. I loved them, but they're starting to get holes in them, and they're so old. I decided I'm going to get a new pair of gloves, and I love how you go on. They say, oh yeah, great, negative, I don't know, negative degrees, and I read all the reviews, and people are like, oh yeah, they're so warm, and you get a few negative reviews, and it's like, well, they're getting a negative review from me because these gloves are not holding up to this cold. I mean, I'm sorry, if you're going to claim negative temperatures and my hands are cold after being out here for about 45 minutes, no. I'm not falling for that. Yeah, these are going back. Anyone have any suggestions on some really good warm gloves? And drop me a DM. I'd love to find out. I mean, these were not cheap gloves, but yeah, they're just not keeping my hands warm. Anyhow, we're not here to talk about gloves. I'm not going to be doing reviews, unless you want me to. If you want me to do reviews, I'm more than happy to do reviews. But no, heading on out, there's getting closer. You can probably hear the road traffic getting closer to the road. And as you're walking down the main driveway from the visitor center to the parking lot, there's a large pond here. They have a platform, so they do get osprey here. There's been a lot of, different wildlife sightings. I didn't check on that. Oh, there's a woodpecker. He's a brave soul to be out in this cold weather. But yeah, there's a woodpecker on the side of the tree here. Looks like a hairy, a little bit too large to be a downy. Hairy woodpeckers, the length of the beak is actually the same or longer than the width of the depth, I should say, depth of the head. So from the front of the head to the back of the head, the beak's about the same or a little bit longer. If it's shorter, that's a downy woodpecker. So this one's a hairy, a little bit bigger. And let's see. In the summertime, I do see a lot of mourning doves and pigeons here, and good. Like I said, we're close to the city here. And I'm seeing something on top of a light post here. I can't tell what it is. Yep, yeah, some little songbird. I don't know if you can hear, we're getting a lot of wind here, so try to block the microphone from wind. Oh, there he is. Okay, yeah, another woodpecker. That one looks like a downy. So we have a downy woodpecker. This guy's going from tree to tree here. You can hear the little squeak noise. It's actually in a tree right over my car. Don't poop on my car, please. So I hope you enjoyed our visit to Tift Nature Preserve. I really encourage you to come out, visit. It's a beautiful preserve. Try to come in warmer weather. Pretty cold. Okay, in the car, so. A little bit warmer in here. That's nice. Yeah, gotta get these gloves off. They really are not working. But I hope you enjoyed wandering through nature with me today. I like to get out in the winter time and, actually do recordings out on the trails, not all in the studio. And today just seems like a good day. I had a little bit of free time and I thought, I'm going to go and do some hiking today. So don't forget, if you enjoyed the podcast, share it with your friends. It's always good to have more people listening to the podcast. We can, the more people we can educate about nature, the better off we are. So, introduce the podcast to more people, your friends. If you'd like to support the podcast, check out the show notes. There's different ways of supporting the podcast. You can donate to my Ko-Fi page, or you can buy merchandise at my merch store. You can also get nature journals. These are really awesome nature journals. Some are guided. I do have a whole set of nature journals for the young people or the young ones at heart like me, and they are more guided, or the other ones are just beautiful nature journals with blank pages for you to just write inside all of your thoughts on nature, your visitations in nature, get them down on paper. But anyhow, those are the links to all that is in the show notes, so make sure you check out the show notes. Get out and explore nature wherever you are. I don't care where you live. There is nature around you. Okay, don't think you have to drive somewhere to get to nature. I mean, yeah, it's nice to get to some of these national parks or whatever, but hey, your own backyard, there's nature there. I don't care if you live in the middle of the city. There is nature around you. So get outside and explore nature. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day, and don't forget to keep exploring the nature around you.
Did you know that plastic is made with oil, a fossil fuel that pollutes the environment? And did you know that only about 15% of all plastic is recycled into new products? Wouldn't it be awesome if we could live our lives without plastic so that we could stop harming the planet? Well, there's a company that wants to help you do just that. Life Without Plastic sells products that will reduce or eliminate your dependence on plastic. They have a large selection from toothbrushes to food storage containers to drinking straws, all plastic free. And it's reasonably priced. So what are you waiting for? Check out all these great plastic-free products and help save the planet. Just click on the link in the show notes to find out more and to start your journey to being plastic-free.